This call is being recorded.
You have UFOs or Bigfoots?
I got both of them.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
I just turned 52 today, and my first experience with UFOs, I was 18 years old. And we was out by a pool out here in the little town I live in, and a little green fog, like a real green, like a fluorescent green light, come up over the tree line, and it kind of come over our car. We was young, we was drinking beer. Oh, I ain't gonna tell sure. I start off and tell the truth. And we was out there on dirt road drinking some beers, and there's this green, like a little thing come over the tree line. It kind of hovered over our little car for a minute, and it kind of like it was going to take off real fast, but then it backed up on us, and like it backed up to check us out, and it moved forward a little bit more, and it backed up a little more, and then it moved forward, and all of a sudden a big flash come up, and it was gone. That was my first experience with it. My second one was I was with my wife, and we was between a little town called Ladonia and Wolf City, and it was a triangle UFO. I'm gonna call it like I see it as a UFO, and it was triangle and had green, blue, red, yellow, and maybe I'm a little colorblind. There's maybe some purple lights around it. It was a triangle, and it come over a tree line on a little dirt road on an S curve. And it come over the tree line, and it kind of come over real slow, and we couldn't hear nothing. And it kind of hovered over us a minute, and all of a sudden it kind of took off real fast, and it was gone. There was no sound, and it was headed it come up from the south side, and it was headed north. And when it disappeared out of the north there, it headed north. And about 3 minutes after that, three F-16s come from the north, headed south, and they split. Two kind of split to the east, and one split to the west. And then all of a sudden, the one that kind of went to the west circled back around, and the two that went east headed back north like it was chasing it. And the one that headed east come back over us, and it was flying kind of low, and we could almost hear you almost hear the vibration of the jet. And that was back in 2000 and what, baby? What was it? 2000 what? About 2007 when that one happened. And the F-16s come over, and I guess the one that kind of broke to the west was trying to catch up with his partners. I guess because he hit supersonic or something, and he come over, and he was flying. And then all of a sudden, me and my wife both looked down at the time, and we had lost about 15 minutes of time. We didn't know where the 15 minutes had went. We didn't know. We knew we hadn't been sitting there 15 minutes, but 15 minutes had passed, and we lost time. That was my second encounter. My third encounter with a UFO, me and my wife was on another dirt road. We live in a little small country town. We was on another dirt road, and there's another green light, and it kind of come over our truck, and it was headed east. It come from east to west, or from west to east, and it was headed east. And I was just toying around and just flashing my lights at it. Well, it kind of slowed down, and it got real bright, and it slowed down, and I quit flashing my lights at it, and like it was going to take off headed east again. And I kind of flashed my lights at it again, and it stopped. I quit flashing my lights because it kind of spooked me then. So I kind of quit flashing my lights at it and started headed east again. And I flashed my lights at it again, and it slowed down like it was going to come back, and it kind of spooked me. And I started my truck up, come home. That's about my experience with the UFOs. Now I have seen a silver one in the air during daylight at a little pool I used to fish at with my son. And he was little. He wouldn't remember. He was still in diapers. My oldest son was. He wouldn't remember it. I was by a pool, and it was like a silver cigar-shaped one, and it kind of flew, and it was kind of high in the air. Not really real high, but it was high enough in the air. But I could tell it wasn't an airplane. But it was a silver-shaped, cigar-shaped one, and it was silver. And that's pretty much my experiences with the UFOs. And my experience with the Bigfoots. Me and my wife was down on a dirt road because I said we live in a country town, and we was sitting down there, and it was late, it was 2 a.m. in the morning, something like that. We were just messing around dirt roads, and we felt a bump in my old truck, and it shook the truck. Well, I had a spotlight. We always carry a spotlight to look at deers and hogs and stuff like that, and it bumped the truck. It bumped the truck enough to shake the stuff on my truck mirror, and I took my spotlight and looked at the truck, and there was nothing around the truck. And so I kind of spooked us, and so I started heading back up the hill. We call it Mitchell Hill. and we started heading back up the hill, and we could see the figure walking on two legs on the right side of the dirt road, kind of in the ditch a little bit. And then as closer I got to it, they started walking faster. And then as closer I got to it, so I gassed on my truck. And the closer I got to it, we could tell it wasn't a hog or a bear or anything like that. They had long fur on their legs and they stand on two legs. And when I got probably 25, 35 yards from it, it took off. It jumped the fence and it took off to the west. Well, I slowed down going up the hill, and I turned the radio down. My truck didn't have no loud pipes on it, nothing. We could hear it, but we could hear it running through down the tree line, like it was not chasing us, but like it was following us. And that's about my only Bigfoot experience I ever had. And that's probably the remainder of what I've experienced. I ain't had much experience with ghosts or anything like that. My wife has, but I haven't. All right, but that's pretty much about what I've experienced, and I firmly believe in them. I'm a true believer that our Creator does not waste time and space, so I believe He's busy all the time. I honestly believe in them. I believe they're here. I believe they're there, and I believe they're coming. Sooner or later, one of these days, they're going to show up, and it's going to surprise a lot of people. But I've already prepared. Me and my wife already prepared ourselves. We're already prepared. We're waiting on them. We're going to welcome with open arms. No, I invite them in for a bologna sandwich if they eat food. That's just how I am. I like to feed people, so I invite them in for a bologna sandwich, And that's pretty much my experiences with them. I don't know what else to say. I've never had an interview like this, so I'm kind of stumped.
So far, you're doing just perfectly fine.
Okay, cool.
If you pay attention, it's Ronnie Dawson lives over in Texas.
Okay.
I swear, the UFO reports out of Texas, their home base is there somewhere.
Their home base, yeah.
There's way too many UFO reports coming out of Texas,
really?
Especially in the time periods that you were talking about.
Yeah, it was around 2007, 2008, 2009. Now, the first one, I said my first year was experience, I was 18. I'm 52 now, so that's back in the 80s. My first experience, about 83, 84, something like that. I have to do the math on that, but that was my first experience with UFO. That's when I actually started believing. Now, my partner, my brother, and my other partner, they were with me. And like I was telling my mom and my wife, we put it all in 3 separate rooms and answer the same questions, and our stories would match. And we'd be in separate rooms, not even talking to each other. So I'm a firm believer in them. I really am. I believe they're here, and I believe they're coming. I hope they're not hostile. I hope they're
Mr. Dawson, he took and he flashed a laser at one of the UFOs.
Yes, ma'am.
Later that day, his house filled up full of these little tiny creatures that paralyzed him and tore all of his drawers apart, went through his whole house, was like clawing up from underneath his bed where he couldn't move, so he's afraid it was clawing up through the bed to claw through him. If you hunted down his story and you heard about the little creatures that ransacked his house, I shouldn't be giggling because that was terrifying, but...
Yeah. Now, my wife has a little creature that comes in, and she thought that he had left, but I still see him at night sometimes. I've been diagnosed. I have insomnia, so I don't sleep a lot sometimes, and sometimes my mind goes kind of wonky. Sometimes when I haven't had a lot of sleep, but I normally get good sleep, and I don't hallucinate, and I'm not really schizophrenic. But out of the corner of my peripheral vision, I can see her little creature that she's explained to me, and she's actually doing it on paper for me, and explained to me what he looks like. And like I told her, he hasn't left you. He's still around her. He's still here. But he cloaks. I see my peripheral vision, but he cloaks. When you turn to look at it, he's not there. But you can see him. He's a little short guy. He probably ain't 2.5, 3 foot tall. And but he's kind of wrinkly looking, and he got some ears on him. And he's a cool little character, but he cloaks a lot. My wife explained to him what he looked like, and I don't discard it. It's because I'm a believer. I'm not a non-believer. I believe, and excuse me. But like I told her, he hasn't left her, so he's still around her. So I don't know if she's his pet, or he's her pet, or he's just an experiment, or maybe he's her keeper. Maybe he's a protector. I don't know. because my wife had some bad relationships, and so maybe he protects her. Is what I'm thinking. Because he's he's non-threatening. Uh, but he's still around, and you can catch him at nighttime, like early in the morning, like between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. You can catch him in the morning time, like your peripheral vision. But when you go look at him, he cloaks. He disappear. He's a pretty cool little guy. I think. And of course, me and my wife both, we kind of think outside the box a little bit. We're a little unorthodox because we believe, and people look at it like we're kind of nuts, but that's you can't change what people think about you. So we kind of keep it to ourselves. Now, my mom and her mother-in-law, we talked to her about it, and she's 85 years old, and we kind of got her on board with it too a little bit. She kind of believes a little bit now. Well, she hasn't. I don't think she's ever had any experiences with it, but she's open minded with it when we talk about it. She don't look at it like we're crazy, which is a good thing. Because my mom's a good woman. She's a really good woman. She worked hard. She's raised 5 kids, and she's done really good. But me and my wife are both open minded, But we talk to my mom about it, and she don't look at it like we're nuts. But my kids, they're like, yeah, they're here, Dad, and we know they're here, and we know they're coming, and so my kids believe too. So it's kind of really neat. I wish more people would get on board and believe, because like I said, our Creator, He don't waste space and time, and he's busy doing something all the time. So I don't think he's turning our back on us, and I know a lot of people are religious and they go by the Bible, and I'm a religious man myself. I don't call Him God, I don't call Him Lord, I call Him my Creator, because He created all this. He created this beautiful planet for us, and He created these beautiful trees and beautiful birds and animals and everything else. And so I just call Him my Creator. I don't call Him God, I don't call Him Lord. I just call Him my Creator. But I'm a pretty religious man, but I wish more people that was religious would kind of maybe, in a way, maybe kind of shut the Bible, because the Bible is a storybook, and the stories will be told. And I'm not saying they're not true, but open their minds up a little bit and have an open mind about the situation about it. So maybe more people get on board to believe that they are here, which I think is really neat. I think they are. I think they're here to educate us, to not let us destroy the Mother Earth, and try to educate us and learn us on things that we screw up on, like global warming and stuff like that, and smog and everything else. But I think they really need to open their minds up a little bit, really, and believe. So that's all it takes is a few people get on board and believe in it. But yeah, there's been a lot of sightings around here in Texas, and I have another couple, the married couple out here, got 2 little girls. And the second story I seen about the green fog I was flashing my headlights at, they was on a different dirt road, which was east of where we was on dirt road at, and they seen the same thing. So we was talking about it one time, and Jimmy Dillon. There's another guy who goes to church up here, and he's seen the same thing. He's an older gentleman, and he's telling my mom about it, and he's seen it too. So there are some believers up here in Texas. They're very active, and it's pretty neat, But that's about all I really have, as far as that goes. But yeah,
That's more than enough.
I'm more than happy to share my stories with you. That's great that somebody's actually willing to hear the stories and believe too, because me and my wife, people look at it like we're crazy, so we don't really talk about it in public, or to our friends, because they look at it like we're nuts. And so, but I'm more than happy to share my stories with you, Mel. It's kind of neat. So, but that's about all I have.
That's more than enough.
Okay, cool.
Too bad when you ran into the BigFoot, or actually at any time, a dashboard cam would have been nice.
Yeah, I would have our GoPro, but back then they didn't have them back then, so yeah, it would have been nice. But we still get out and about. So our kids are getting grown out, so we don't run the streets. They're in school, so we don't run the roads like we will. We grew up. We don't drink no more, so we don't run back roads and drink like we used to. But not that we got really drunk, but we'd have a bottle of wine or something together. Share a bottle of wine. Not that we got intoxicated, and seen these things and being intoxicated, but we actually seen them sober, and it's pretty neat, But like I said, I'm more than happy to share. My wife was telling me about this. I'm more than happy to share my story with you. That somebody actually believe, and I'm kind of need to get it off my chest, really. To be honest with you.
Well,
What's
it
that?
validates your life. I mean, so many people are so busy telling people, that nothing exists that they didn't see, that people who did see things are not getting validation. And
Right.
validation is important.
Yes, ma'am. I believe that too.
Um, I believe you saw. I believe you saw what you saw because there's thousands of other people who saw what you saw.
Really cool.
Except for
Oh,
I've never seen a Bigfoot and I've never seen a cylinder UFO.
you have
I
saw a
saw a
UFO?
pyramid UFO
Oh, cool.
and
Yeah,
I
we.
saw
What Go ahead, ma'am.
I saw an egg-shaped UFO.
An egg-shaped one, yeah. I've seen the cigar-shaped one, and I've seen the triangle one, and I've seen like the green misty one. It's like a green glowy one. I guess how you'd call it an orb. Is one of the kind of like the green one,
Mhm.
the green misty one I've seen. I guess you'd call it an orb-shaped one, kind of an orb. But I've seen the cigar-shaped one. I've seen the triangle ones. Uh, that's basically I've never really seen like a flying saucer. And I'm not saying they ain't out there because I'm a
Mhm.
believer. I would love to see one time. I did have a camera phone one time, and I was outside my front porch. No, I got one more story. I forgot about that. I was outside on my front porch, and I was looking at the upper sky. I'm a stargazer, and I seen this star. I thought it was a star, and it was like coming really fast and getting brighter. So I took my phone camera and started filming it. And it's kind of funny. Today we was watching the was the show we watched by the UFO hunters, and a guy in Stephenville, Texas, took a video camera of one that he thought was his grandson had seen, and I wish I still had that phone. Was I don't the phone got destroyed, but the images they were showing on his phone was the exact same images that I filmed on my camera phone. I mean the exact same colors and the ribbon shape. The ribbon shaped different colors, the purple and the green and the red and the blues, and the ribbon shaped and the squiggly lines. But I filmed it on a camera phone, but he done his on a camcorder. But it is identical. My pictures on my camera phone was identical to the ones that they were showing today in Stevensville, Texas, back in 2008. And so then that's around about the same time that I filmed one on my camera phone, 2008, 2009. Something, and it's kind of neat, but yeah, I kind of weight off my shoulders talking to you, Mel. So thank you for listening to me. That kind of weight off my shoulders that somebody actually believes and uh, don't talk to me like I'm half crazy or I am crazy. But it's kind of neat. I was more than happy to share my stories with you. And if I have any more, I will have my wife contact you and I'll share some more with you. Because me and my wife both believe that they still come and visit us from time to time. Uh, because we're non-threatening. Well, yeah, my wife, she woke up one morning with suction cup marks on her back. I woke up one morning with two. I thought they was pimples on my back, but and I even showed them to my mother. Was really weird, but they like my mosquito bites, but they was both on my above my collarbones, close to my shoulders. But they was both identical on both right and left side of me, but they was both in the identical spots like something that probed or something. But it's kind of weird. I didn't really think nothing of it at the time until my wife actually spotted the second one. She's like, they're actually in line, like somebody had measured it with like a ruler or something and put two little dots on my shoulders. So I don't know if you call them abductions or what. But my wife, she had suction cups marks on her back one morning, and I had two dots on my shoulders one morning. And my wife, she still thinks she gets abducted sometimes. I'm not saying she don't. Uh, but of course they take your memory away from you when that happens. If they do so. But that's about all I really have, Mel. But it's nice talking to you. And like I said, if I have any more stories, I will definitely share them from now on. And I won't keep them secret no more. Because there's more people coming out and more believers. So and more, like you said, we'll get more validations. Uh, but yeah, I'm more than happy to share with you, Mel. And that's about all I have, really.
Yeah, the abduction though. See, I've got a problem with that because they do take your memories away from you. You are correct. Um, or they mask the reality with a thought so that you don't actually see what's really there. Like the stage hypnotist hypnotize somebody into thinking they're a chicken and they're in a barnyard when they're really on stage in front of thousands of people.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, I think that's what they do,
Oh,
so that you think you've been asleep all night long, or you think you were dreaming that you were driving someplace or someplace.
yeah, right, right.
And my problem with that is that if they were if they were legit and they were honest, why wouldn't they just make a contract with you
Right, right. Just
and let you
contact.
know what was going on?
Yeah, because
You don't have to hide things that are good for you.
that's right. That's right. You're very right, man. You're very right there. I said, if they show up, like I said, if they show up at my front door, I invite them in for a bologna sandwich or a ham sandwich or a hamburger or something. I'm not scared of them because
Yeah,
I hope they're not threatening, you know. So
invite them in, be straightforward with them, and require them to be straightforward with you. That's my thing with them. I'm like,
yeah,
stop with the sneaky stuff. With the sneaky stuff, we're thinking you're up to something.
right, right, yeah. That's
Um,
good. That's a good way to think about that. I remember that. So yeah,
yeah, because in America, a doctor can't come into your house, start poking around on you, just see what you're made out of without your permission.
that's right. You're very right, ma'am. That's true.
Um, in another country, they might be able to get by with that. But we got laws here, and if they're going to be on American soil, they got to follow American laws.
That's
I'm
right.
like, you can't experiment on somebody without their permission.
Yeah,
And there's even laws about that, even with their permission.
yeah. They don't go so far. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, and it's, I don't want to be, I don't disbelieve it. I truly believe that all these abduction stories are real and that people are telling the truth. But I've got an issue with the way that people are being treated. Although they and you and everybody feels like, okay, they haven't hurt me. They're good with it and everything else. If I was to do that to you and then later woke up and say, "Hey, listen, I've been sneaking into your bedroom every night and poking your hand with a needle just to see if it would wake you up and sneaking back out." You wouldn't be happy with me, would you?
No, ma'am. You're very correct there. And yeah, I'm like you. Just don't just be straightforward about it. You know, just come and
Mhm.
ask me. You know,
Mhm.
or if they speak or they how telekinesis, how they do it, just cause like I said I'm open minded. And if they want to draw some blood or something like that, just hell, ask me. I'll be more than happy to give
Mhm.
it to you. I ain't got nothing to hide. My blood might be a little tainted, but so that's okay too. But if they wanted blood from me or wanted to see my DNA or something like that, just ask me. I'd be more than happy to give it to them. Because maybe they're here to help. Uh, uh, I wish they'd come now because me and my wife was just in a bad car wreck May the 8th. I
Mhm.
broke both my legs and broke my nose and both my eye sockets, and I have a exterior fixture on my left leg right now. It's been in there for about 13 weeks now, and if they are here and they have good technology, come and fix my leg for me so I can walk again.
And that is my other issue with them. I have seen reports from, especially from the ones that are up close to Northeast, like New Jersey and Pennsylvania, some of the older reports from back in the 1950s. There were some reports that they had, and there's another one that is actually from the one of the islands, um, that they do have the technology that can rearrange your atoms and
yeah.
make you young again, make you healthy again, repair broken bones and everything else. They had a light wand, and they were with German people, and they had a Latino person, male, working for them that had COPD, and they took the light wand and they ran it across his chest, and he said that his chest got really, really light feeling, and then suddenly he could breathe normally again. And
Huh.
they told him to go home and to not smoke anymore. And then there was another story where one of the blonde aliens had broken his leg, and the guy helped him back to his ship and helped him back to where he's going. And he passed through a doorway. And after he passed through the doorway, his body was completely healed, which would have been sort of like, you know, they just put the light to where you can just pass through it, the same light that they put on that guy's chest.
Right.
Um, but then, well, these were the blonde ones. And Betty and Barney Hill claimed that they were visited by ones that looked like insectoids, but they don't seem to be. I mean, they take from us, but they don't give back.
Yeah.
So, like, if
Right.
you're going to take somebody up there and you're going to experiment on them, we're human beings. We're going to screw up. We're going to experiment with the things that are available. Why don't you? like give something in return. You obviously don't give them a paycheck. You
Right.
obviously don't give them anything else. You disturb their sleep. And even though the memories are erased or covered up, still there is the little click in the brain that they have already turned on, which would
Yep.
have never been turned on without them, which changes the way you interact with life. You know, do a solid, give a favor back. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah, your leg's broken. The least they could do is like do it a little light and fix your legs.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
and
my right leg
co-
is real good, but my left leg we're trying to save it. I still may lose
Mhm.
it. We don't know yet. I go back to the doctor on the 22nd. But it's broken half, and my finger bone is broken half in two places, and at the bottom between about halfway down my shin bone, from my shin bone down to my ankle, it's broken into six different pieces. My ankle's fractured on the left side. It's my left leg. It's fractured on the left side. I got 25 fractures on the right side. On the inside right, I got 15 fractures on it. So yeah, do me a solid and come fix it. So I give them blood or whatever. I do them a solid. They do me a solid. That'd be great. Cause I know they have the technology for it. Because they're way more advanced than we are. So
and
uh,
they don't quite understand. Like we have a money system here. They may not have the same money system, so they don't really understand our money system. But that if the money isn't coming in, other things are not coming in, and things are not getting done properly, and money is required for body repairs, for maintenance, for upkeep, for everything else. And when they're doing that stuff, they can't possibly think that they're doing it, you know, through research in a natural habitat because they're interrupting the natural habitat.
yeah, that's right. It'd be like us going to a beehive and putting a wasp in it or poking a stick through it. It'd be interrupting nature, and
Mm.
that's something I've been with my wife now 15 years, and that's something that she's taught me is to give back to Mother Nature. If we go pick a flower or something like that, then we water where we picked, so another flower can grow. Or if a tree has fallen or something like that, then we take a seed and we'll plant a seed to give back to Mother Nature, to give back, because it gives to us. So it's like a barter system, I guess you might call it. Uh, because I live in a little barter town too. You get more swapping done around here than cash does. But you swap eggs or milk or something like that for some to a farmer or somebody like that. If you're a farmer, you got 2 dozen eggs and a gallon of milk. And you run out of gas. Then you swap a dozen eggs and a gallon of milk for a gallon of gas. Because you don't have no money. So it's kind of a barter system.
Mm.
Kind of you scratch my back, I scratch
Well,
yours, or like you said, do me a solid. I'll do you a solid, do me a solid. Uh, for one favor, return for another. But you're right. They need to quit being so sneaky about it and just come out and just come down and quit being scared. Because people like us are not scared of them and will welcome with open arms. They need to understand that we're not going to harm them. Don't harm us. Come in and be frank with us and just come. You have the technology. They have the technology to do that. And just come and ask us. Just be nice about it. Don't be sneaky. Just come and ask me because I give a shirt off my back to a homeless man because I can get another shirt somewhere else. That's just how I am. That's how I was raised. That's how my mama raised me. Because somewhere down the line, I have another shirt, or I have another shirt in my closet. So if I say, man, we don't have a shirt, I'd be more than happy to give him a shirt. Uh, Maybe
well,
somebody's
also,
pulled up, honey.
if you were a cow,
But
the farm,
but yeah,
if
that's
you were
all
a
I really
cow,
have. Like I said, if I have any more experiences, man, I will be more than happy to share it. And like I said,
yeah.
that's kind of a weight lifted off my shoulders because really it's kind of neat to be able to talk to somebody who actually believes too, which is neat.
Even though I tend to throw a little bit of controversy in it always. But if you were a cow, the farmer would have to get a veterinarian for you.
Right? Oh, well,
So
okay. But yeah, well, I just had a
it
man.
sounds like you have things going on.
Yeah, I just had one of my church members come in the house. But
Mm.
yeah, well, he talked to my mom. I've been a member of my church since 1978, which is the year my wife was born. Uh, but like I said, I'm a religious man. I'm a religious man, but I believe. I have an open mind. I believe. Thank you, Tom. But yeah, yeah, that's all I have. And like I said, if I run across any more, I'll be more than happy to share with. Hang on one second. Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Tom. So yeah, this is more church member brought my mama rotisserie chicken for supper tonight. Yeah. See, that's what that's what we call barter town. We give and they give back. There's real nice people. I live in a little small town, 668 people here in northeast Texas. In a little town called Ladonia. If you ever want to look it up on a map, you can look it up on a map. It's called Ladonia, Ladonia, Texas. It's in northeast Texas, and it's 668 people, real small town. You can walk across it in about an hour. Actually about 30 minutes. You walk one in town and the other town about 30 minutes. So we live in a small town.
And the rotisserie chicken sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does, don't it? Yeah, well, yeah, our church members they do that. They come, and especially since me and my wife had to wreck, they actually little towns come together, especially our church that we're members of. I mean, my wife, she's not a member of the church, but I am. But since I've become since I'm in my car wreck, the church members of this little town, especially the church I'm a member of, they have really come together and helped us out a whole lot. Bringing us easy food that was easy to cook or sandwich meat, stuff like that. Because my mom's in a wheelchair and I'm in a wheelchair now. My wife, she's pretty banged up for a couple months. But we all come together and try to take care of each other in a little small town. And this is how we do it. That's how we survive. But that's about all I have for you.
That was more than enough.
I was more than happy to share with you, and it's good to hear that me and my wife ain't the only ones out here that can actually talk about it. Because me and my wife, we used to talk about it together. Because people look at it like I said, people look at it like we're crazy. But me and my wife, we discuss it and stuff like this between ourselves. But it's really neat to talk to somebody else that actually believes. I've seen several different little things. And actually, one of the little pool I used to go to and fish used to kind of be funny because it'd be calm wind and nothing going on, and all of a sudden you see from the center of the pool you see ripples of water come up and just ripple to almost like a wave or something. Somebody throw a rock out in the middle of the pool and hit the middle of the pool, and here come the waves coming in, little ripples. I never could figure out what that was. I didn't know if it was some big fish out there rolling or whatever. My wife said there's probably a USO, USO underneath the water or something like that. We didn't really know. But we know there's a gator out there because we've seen the tracks a bit. So we don't know. We're kind of on the fence on that one. But yeah, it's really nice talking to you, ma'am.
Gators will definitely do that.
But yeah, if I have any more, I will definitely call you, and I'll get my wife to look up that Dawson guy here in Texas, and if we have any more experiences, and we catch them when they're fresh, and we'll contact him, let him know too.
He's kind of hard to talk to because he started playing with his experiences, having fun with them. But his stories are pretty interesting.
Okay.
I was looking for some information to tell you. Here it is. Did you know? Since you are definitely a church member, I will tell you this. If you go to Psalms 68, verse 22, you will find description of God's people under the sea.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
USOs. And
really?
then there's a description of the hidden ones in Psalms 83, verse 3.
Okay, I will do that. I will get it out and look at it. As soon as I hang up the phone with you, I will get that out. I'll get my mama's out, and I will look that up. That way I can show my mother. That'd be so neat. Yeah, I will do that. I'll get her on board now, make her believe.
And they are not listed. The USOs, the people from the depths of the seas, are not listed as the good guys, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're not listed as the friendly guys.
Okay.
Okay. They're not listed as anybody I would want to mess with.
Okay.
Um,
All right then. I remember that, but I will get that out and look that up. I have pretty good memory, so I ain't gonna write that down. I can remember that. So, yeah, I'll get down and look that up. I sure will. Yeah. Huh? What, Bo? Oh, okay. My son's got a big gun on nobody, so he should go fire or something. Oh yeah, I think my son's gonna need to use the phone, so you want to call his friend, go shoot a BB gun or something. But yeah,
okay.
that was really nice talking to you, man. It really
It
was.
was amazing talking to you too. Thank you very much for your story.
You're very welcome anytime. And like I said, if I run across any more and say I have any more experiences, I have my wife contact you and I'll tell you them stories. Like I said, I don't mind at all sharing. It's really nice to share with somebody who believes. It really is. So, but
And
anyway,
it's
I guess I better get off the phone here and let my son have his phone and call his friends so he can go shoot his BB guns today.
okay.
Okay, Mel?
You have an amazing evening,
You
okay?
too. You too, Mel. All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for the
Thank you.
story. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye bye.